Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gaming with me, Tony Mo, and we're here today to take an early look at the Trials Fusion closed beta. Trials Fusion is the latest entry in the epic and addictive Trials franchise that Redlynx started a very long time ago now, actually. I can't actually remember when Trials 2 released, but that was the first game I played way back in the days of Steam. In fact, I think you might even be able to still purchase it on Steam. From there, they moved on to Trials HD, which was an Xbox 360 exclusive, which eventually came to other platforms. We then had the amazing Trials Evolution, and now we're here today with Trials Fusion. Just another epic entry in the franchise. It really genuinely is. I mean, this is just the closed beta. It's available on Steam. If you pre-purchase the game for $20, you get access to the closed beta. The game's going to be releasing on the 25th for PC, and on the 16th for those of you lucky fellas over there on the console. Now, the game is in closed beta, as I said, on PC. In fact, we've been slowly leaked certain pieces of content. So if we go to Ride here, we'll actually go to the tracks quickly and let me show you guys. So we started off, and initially all we had was Greenhorns Grove and Arctic Open. We just recently got Urban Sprawl and then Cactus Challenge. We've been limited to what we've had, and in that first week when I purchased the game and got into closed beta, I spent over 9 hours playing just the 2 areas with a total of 10 tracks, I believe. It's that good. It is really that good. I've now broken the 20-hour mark, I believe, for a game that isn't even released. The content isn't even here yet. It's just so satisfying. The experience it's just so wonderful. And on top of all of that, you can still compete with your friends. I have a couple other friends playing in the closed beta. It's been a non-stop back and forth showdown between us to see who could set the fastest time on these medium difficulty tracks. And man, has it been a damn good time doing it. One of the cool things that they've actually went and added, if we hit left bumper up here, we now have a notification center that goes ahead and straight out flashes in your face and says, hey, guess what? Matthew K just beat your record in Redlynx Rampage. And then you know what I can do? I can click on that and I can go right to that exact showdown and I can start trying to take back that record, what is rightfully mine. So the competitive nature of the game when it comes to playing against your friends and beating times is most definitely still there. In fact, it's probably stronger than ever, especially with the addition of some of the new modes like freestyle motocross and more skill games. I mean, who didn't love the skill games in Trials? It's always been one of my favorite elements of the game to sort of break away when you get to the harder levels of the regular Trials tracks. You know, when you're in Extreme and doing the ninja tracks, and sometimes you can only be so much of a masochist before you got to stop and just cool down. But of course you don't want to stop playing Trials. It's too addicting. So you go and you play the skills games. And there's plenty more of those. We'll take a look at those in a second. But let's actually go ahead and quickly hop into our garage, because they have changed the way that you unlock things for your bikes as well as for your rider just a little bit. In the past, in Evolution, you would essentially earn money and unlock things when you got to a level and just purchase them. And that was the end of it. Actually, I think you just earn money and then you would just purchase them. Now if we go to our rider, we actually have tiered gear. There's like tiered riding gear. It's a very interesting and cool way of doing things. So we have all of these different outfits: the Biotech, Dashing Hero, Outsider, ES Enforcer, Contender, Excavator, and then we have our 2 bonus things, of course, the official mascot of Redlynx, at least for the last couple of games, the Squirrel. And not sure what the Frowning Clown is. I imagine that he'll make his way into the game in some manner, but basically I'm wearing a combination of the early Contender outfit as well as the Excavator. So if we click on the Contender, you can see here the primary loadout for him. We have the first set of clothing. Now as we get to certain levels, we'll unlock more of that. So now we have the 2nd tier, and then eventually you can reach the 3rd tier, which is basically what he looks like here on the cover. You can also mix and match, as I've done. I actually have the 2nd tier Excavator pants on with the 1st tier Contender shirt and helmet. So you can mix these however you want. There's some pretty cool stuff. Again, the game takes place in the future, so everything is kind of themed to that manner. It all kind of has a futuristic look. We can do the Dashing Hero, which is actually, I think, one of the only ones that says step into the light. So I'm starting to think that the step into the light, we don't actually know what this is. At least I haven't been able to read Redlynx coming out and saying what it is, but I'm convinced it's some sort of a prestige mode. Once you hit level 50, you actually can step into the light and maybe start over again. Not 100% on that one, but that's my guess on it. We also have Biotech, which is like really epic, crazy looking armor. And one of the things that you'll notice from just sitting in here is the level of detail that the game now has. It was always a very good looking game, don't get me wrong, but Trials Fusion has definitely taken that to the next level. Everything is very crisp and clean. There's a lot of small details and elements in everything from the rider's gear, the level design, all the way down to the bikes, which of course are some of the most important things. So let's go ahead and take a look at the bikes. So if we pop over here, we only have a few bikes available to us currently in the beta. We have Baggy, which is basically the starter bike, the 125cc motocross bike. We then have the Roach, which is a little bit of a bigger bike. Heftier engine, it's also a bit of a heavier bike in general. The Pit Viper, which isn't available in the beta. The Foxbat, which is the freestyle motocross bike, because that is the thing now. It even has the flip bars on it, which is awesome. And we also have the TKO Panda, a four-wheeler. Yes, we have an ATV in the game. Interestingly enough, using the track editor back in Evolution, people actually made ATVs. They were terrible to ride, but they were there, and obviously Redlynx saw that and said, you know, there's potential there. Let's actually put an ATV in the game. And the TKO Panda is a very different riding experience from any of the other motocross bikes. It's very heavy, it's very weighty, it also has a lot of power, it also has four-wheel drive, and it also is very easy to over-rotate. Very, very fun bike. And then we have the Rabbit, which I believe is going to be the bicycle, if I remember correctly. The BMX bike is going to be returning, which is awesome. Now we also have a new way to customize these bikes. Rather than just changing the color, slapping on some different wheels, we can actually go in, modify the color of the bike, modify the color of the wheels, as we've done in the past. We can also unlock body kits by completing challenges. So you see, earn a gold medal on Titan Temple, that will unlock the second upgrade, and then the third upgrade we get for earning a gold medal on Polar Accelerator. I've already unlocked the first upgrade, and as you can see, a lot of these body kit upgrades and a lot of the wheels are very futuristic to sort of match the theme of the game. I'm kind of an old school guy, grew up with motorcycles, so I prefer the classic look, classic spoked wheels with a little bit of gold paint on them and a nice red paint job. But if you want to be all crazy, the opportunity is there to do so. We have the Shoryuken wheels, we have Blade wheels, the Renaissance wheels, and there's also a couple more to unlock. And granted, this is just in the beta. It also says level 150, so I may have been wrong about the whole prestige thing. Just noticed that that was the thing. Man, 150 levels. That's going to take a long time to get there. Maybe not, though. The addiction could be high. We also have leaderboards and statistics. All that good stuff. It's all there. It all exists. But let's just go ahead and ride, man. I mean, that's the whole fun of this game, right? Track Central, by the way, I should point out, the content creator that was available in Evolution is going to be back. I'm sure it's going to be even better. We saw people create some crazy things in the days of Evolution, including Space Invaders, as again said, ATVs. There was even like a police getaway mission. There was so much awesome stuff that the community had created. I cannot wait to see what they do with Fusion. But let's go ahead and actually hop into a freestyle motocross right off the bat, because for those of you guys who have played Trials, this will probably be the newest thing to you. So let's go ahead and head to Redlynx Rampage and see if I can't take back my time from my friend Matt there. So the freestyle motocross fits into Trials so well, because much like Trials, the regular Trials gameplay, it is also physics-based. Let's see if we can't get a nice little intro here. We're going to do a little bit of an endo, going in the ramp, get some extra points. So you actually use the right stick, and by rotating it in certain directions and pushing it in certain directions, oh, that's a fail. It's going to allow you to perform different tricks. It's actually a really difficult system to master. It reminds me a lot of the I forgot what they called it. You know, the skate trick system, the EA Skate, which was like probably one of the best skateboarding games we had in the last like 10 years. But it's very similar to that system, just on a freestyle motocross level. It requires quite a bit of a precision to actually nail the perfect trick. You have to hold it for a certain amount of time before it actually registers as a trick, and then there's just a lot of other elements that you can mix into that. You can land tricks, you know, very, very late and get extra points for doing so. You can ride wheelies and do endos to help boost up your score. Let's see if we can't get a nice crazy kiss of death going on here. And again, as I said, it's all physics-based. I wanted to show you guys that right there. So the momentum of my rider actually throwing himself back onto the bike at such a high speed, I didn't bother to compensate for that. It then caused me to over-rotate and bail the landing. So the physics does not go away just because you're playing freestyle motocross. It's all there. It's all wonderful, and it all adds to a really, really good experience. That was really close. Oh yeah, landing it nice and late. Let's see if we can't stick ourselves a nice little coffin. Superman. Nice little wheelie. Let's bust out a huge dead body into a really disturbing, not sure what I was doing trick. And let's end it with a little Superman, ride a wheelie off the end of the ramp there. Look at that. Not a very good score, but not a very bad score either. So, freestyle motocross, awesome addition to Trials. I can't wait to see some of the later tracks. As you saw, there was already small elements of integrating weird little moving track pieces into them. I'm interested to see how people manage to keep up a high score while doing those, possibly riding wheelies, even endos into those things. I think it's going to be a crazy, crazy system that people are going to take to a whole new level when the game comes out. I can't say I will ever have the skill to do some of the things that I've thought of, but I know there's going to be people out there doing ridiculous combos, linking the entire track together. It's going to be like Tony Hawk on a 2D plane with motorcycles. It's going to be fantastic. Really, really happy that they added it to the game. But let's go ahead and, of course, look at some of the regular trials, because that's one of the biggest parts of the game still to this day. So this is one of the most recent additions to the beta, the Cactus Challenge, which I haven't actually done all the tracks. I still need to do Base Invaders and Around the Oasis. And then we also have skill challenges, which are returning, which there's a whole new set of them. They're actually added into the career mode now. They're available at the end of each challenge, and they're still just as wonderful as they've always been. But let's go ahead and do Base Invader. The great thing about the Cactus Challenge is it's actually a TKO Panda only event. So they've went out of their way to make sure that certain vehicles actually have their own set of events, which I like very much. It means that one vehicle will never, be ignored just because someone didn't like it, and it will require players to adapt to the different riding styles that the different vehicles actually require. Let's actually try and start this over. So we're just gonna run it. I'm not gonna torture you guys with trying to get like the best lap time ever here and beat my friend, but one of the things that I've noticed that Redlynx has seemed to have done at the earlier levels is, even with Evolution, I would say there's some of the medium and easy tracks you never really went back to. There wasn't really anything there after you beat them. They weren't all that difficult, and there wasn't really much of a reason to go back and replay them to try and get a faster time. But the way that some of the new medium tracks are done is there's a lot of flow required to be successful in them. As you can tell here, I'm doing terrible. No flow whatsoever. My time is absolutely atrocious on just every single element. I'm down by like 9 seconds from the next fastest friend. So they've integrated this new difficulty level, I guess you could say, into the earlier tracks. Rather than having it be, a small focus on like the die-hard trials mechanics that we see later down the road when you get into hard and into extreme. Oh, that was the biggest fail ever, man. Let's just start that one over. You now have these flow elements, something that's actually really relevant, really prevalent, I should say, in real freestyle, in real motocross, and in real supercross racing. Is the faster racer is going to be the guy who can stay low and fast and understands the quickest routes around the track, which sometimes it's not, clearing that triple, sometimes it's holding back for the double to get a little bit more speed going into the corner. And those same elements sort of apply inside of trials, of course, on a 2D setting instead of 2D plane. Man, I just can't get a good run here. Let's environments, though, that's definitely something I should mention. The environments in this game are breathtakingly amazing. They're breathtaking. I should have just said that. No reason to add amazing on it. I use that word a bit too much. Anyways, I mean, look at that. There's some crazy features like jet taking off. There's just a ton of background elements going on. I'll show you guys a level in a second that actually reminds me quite a bit of a Borderlands level because of how vast and open it is in the background. And the fact that everything is going on. I'm running the game on max. Again, a very pretty game. Understandably, this isn't Crysis, but it's always running 60 frames locked. It never deviates from 60 frames. In fact, I'm usually running higher than that, but when I'm recording 60 frames, never drops below, ever. Not during an explosion. I've never seen it drop below 60. It blows my mind that the game continues to run that well. In fact, I went to 61 when I blew up there. Really, really great performance on this game. Again, those environments are really, really well done. They're just a joy to be in the game. And once you get to the point where you're playing the level over and over, you start to actually see more elements hidden in the background. You start to catch all of the small pieces that they've added to the game. Jets flying in, windmills falling over. So much detail and an obvious amount of passion put into the level design. Really, really impressive there. So let's actually go ahead and let's go to that track that I was telling you guys about, because it's one of my favorite tracks. It's just like this. It's so good. Turbine Terror here. Let's go ahead and we'll go with Baggy, which is the actual bike that you would have when the first time you played this track. It's the very first track available to us. And once we bust out of these doors, it gets really good. That was a terrible start. Let's try that again. Just trying to slam my bike down again quickly. Now, while we're enjoying this breathtaking level, we should probably talk about Cindy and George, which are the two AI voices that you're going to hear while you're playing the game. A lot of people, I've seen this in the comments on other videos, are really concerned that the voices are going to get annoying. And I can kind of understand. I was a little bit concerned myself before I had played the game, but the fact is the voices are actually really well done. And while yes, they do repeat themselves when you play a track for the second or third or fourth and probably 17th time, they don't actually become annoying. They're at the perfect volume where they're there, you hear them, and if anything, they just continue to make you chuckle. Cindy and George both say things that are really funny. They shoot back a lot of commentary. Cindy talks to you directly, as if, you know, she's connected to you in some way. It's actually just a really enjoyable element to the game. I like it. It's comforting while you're playing the game to hear this voice in the back of your head. I feel like it kind of helps keep your sanity, if you know what I mean. So, terrible times I'm setting on these tracks, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and check out one of the skill games. One of my favorite skill games, Balancing Act. So, basically this game is going to require us to go as far as we can, as quickly as we can, without the ability to lean the bike. So you're going to be using nothing but the throttle and the brake to actually navigate through the environment. Skill games aren't something that are completely new to the Trials series. They've been around for a while, but there's, you know, they're still fun nonetheless, and Redlynx has managed to come up with some completely new ideas for their skill games. No good. Let's try it again. So the AI being annoying, though, I wouldn't worry about it, as I was saying. They really just fit in the game very well. They never become irritating or annoying. I never was like, man, really? I have to hear you say that for the 100th time? And if anything, like I said, they inject a lot of personality and just that extra bit of, I don't know. It's just that extra bit of something into the game that's very welcome. It's in no way something that I dislike. Come on, let's do it. Now, maybe for those of you guys out there who haven't checked out Trials in the past, you've never played the game, you know, you might be thinking to yourself, oh, this game just looks really hard, you know, it looks really difficult. I'm not sure if this is something that I could get into. I can understand it may look, you know, really intimidating at first, especially if you've went on YouTube and actually watched Trials footage already, and you saw, like, you know, Evolution, the past games, and you saw Extreme and stuff like that. Yes, that stuff's crazy, but the game has a really nice learning curve. It eases you into it. As you play through the career, you're going to start off with easy tracks, medium tracks, then you'll slowly work your way into hard tracks and extreme tracks. And of course, the game is just like infinitely replayable. To be honest, the tracks never get old. You always want to go back, you always want to better your time, or, you know, now they have challenges actually added to each of the tracks, so you can go back and do the track in a different way. Maybe you have to front flip every single jump, or do 10 backflips before you get to the finish line, while still getting a gold medal. The challenges are a really nice addition to the game, and they just add like an insanely extra amount of replayability that you didn't even actually need. The game is already infinitely replayable in my opinion, and now that that's there, it's infinite times 10 replayability, black hole levels of replayability. It's just really that good. I cannot recommend Trials Fusion enough for you guys, and this is just having played the beta. I mean, everything's here. The core gameplay elements are here. We're missing things like the multiplayer, and again, I'm really excited to see what people do with the track editor, but the game is here, and it's wonderful. As I've said, I put in over 20 hours just in what's available to us here in the beta, and it's been nothing but joy. I mean, this is a game that I've played every single day since I've gotten in the beta. There literally hasn't been a day where I haven't played it for some extent. And it's also a really great small game to pick up for those people who maybe don't have a ton of time in the day. You know, you're looking for that game that you can play, you got 20 minutes, a half an hour before work, you don't have time to boot up a multiplayer game, you don't have time to start diving into a single player campaign. You boot up Trials, you run a few tracks, hell, you could probably even get in like 10 or 15 runs in a half an hour. You go to work, and it's that great pick up and play game. It is really a satisfying experience. So if you guys are interested in Trials, it's going to be launching on consoles on all the platforms on April 16th for $20. And believe me, it is the best $20 you will ever spend on a video game. The amount of enjoyment and playtime you're actually going to get out of Trials is going to greatly surpass that $20 price point. In fact, I would pay $60 for Trials. I'll go that far to say that this game is worth $60 in my opinion. For those of us on the PC, if you pre-purchase the game, I do believe you can still get access to the closed beta. The full game will be releasing on the 25th. I believe they're just sorting out some bugs with Windows 8 and things of that nature. But as you can tell, the game runs great. We had no crashes during this play session. I personally haven't had any crashes here over on Windows 7, and the game has run buttery smooth every step of the way. Check the game out. I'll have links in the description below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.